What is up, my Degens? How we doing? This is Dynasty Degens special. We've been running these out a little bit. This is a fade at ADP. So we are going over players that we just assess their ADP. We assess where they're going in dynasty drafts and overall just drafts in general. And we're figuring out if they are players you really want to tap there. Like there's a lot of players that could be falling and they just don't feel right going over certain players. So I think it's going to be a fun thing to assess. Joining me today is Dane at the Maddog. Dane, what's up, brother?
Yo, what's up, man? It's nice to get back in the chair again. Work's kept me off the podcast for a couple of weeks, so it's nice to be back in here.
Yeah, man. I missed you. So let's get right to it, man. You're a Denver Broncos fan, so I think this fits in right nicely. We got Bo Nix. So Bo Nix, ADP 212. We obviously know what he did his rookie year, and they have only improved that offensive line. They've only improved his weapons. I get why people are going there. I get why people are going after him. But Dane, tell me why Bo Nix could be a fade year two.
Yeah, so I think Bo Nix at 26th overall, I think it's just a little bit too high right now. I think they tend to overachieve in his rookie season when he only really had Cortland Sutton. Yeah, they drafted Pat Bryant, who Sean Payton has reminded us he thinks that he is more like a Michael Thomas. They added Evan Ingram, but let's not forget that the Broncos were 20th in the league for rushing yards per carry. So they went and drafted RJ Harvey, and I think that's going to change. So that should naturally bring down Bo Nix's rushing totals. Yeah, I just think that some of those throws that he had in that intermediate range from 10 to 19 yards, like if you go and look, he scored 29 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, and that number could have easily changed. There were some balls that definitely could have been picked off and lowered his score even more. So I think to see him being drafted where it's CJ Stroud, Drake London, Drake May, we've seen him go in front of Justin Herbert. Like, I just think that's getting a little bit too high for my liking. I'd like to see him settle into that third and fourth round.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then we also have to account for the fact that he's a second-year quarterback, and you can be as good as you need to be. And we're going to touch on another quarterback that's going to be a second-year guy. But there's going to be a lot of transition as a second-year guy. There's going to be defenses that understand you more. There's more tape on you in general. They understand how you move, your tells, the way that you call plays, just like the whole offensive system is understood more closely and I guess it's just a more easy tell as far as a defense goes when they have your tape in the NFL. So there's going to be some adjustments on him, adjustments by Sean Payton. He's a great coach, but I think that if you're expecting him to improve on his rookie year, I don't think it's going to happen personally. I think that's you're drafting him in that range because you think he's going to improve. And I think he's probably at best going to stay exactly where he was his rookie year. Next guy we're going for, rookie. The rookie fever is a real thing, man. And it is okay because some of it's valid. There's reasons why you do it. There's reasons why you draft these guys where you draft them. But this feels like he's jumping the shark a little bit personally. So Omarion Hampton is going 304. We know that he landed in the nut spot. You know that he came in and he's going in with a run first offense, and he's got Justin Herbert, and it just like feels like a perfect scenario where he's going in and Harbaugh is going to give him the rock 25 times a game. I don't think that's going to happen, and people tend to forget what rookie running backs are. They are almost a fade for the first half of the season. Like we look back and we look at J.K. Dobbins, who didn't see the field at all until like week 7. I mean, even somebody like Taylor didn't see the field until we saw Marlon Mack injured. And then we saw, it wasn't until week 6 or week 7 where he was really running the squad. And that was on a team that had nobody. And we're talking about a guy with Najee Harris that he has to share the backfield with. Who are some of the guys that he's being taken over in Dynasty right now?
So right now he's being drafted 30th overall in front of JSN, Jordan Love, Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown. And those are all just players that we have a big enough sample size that I would like to take over Omarion Hampton. Like you said, he has to get acclimatized in the NFL. I don't think he has the elusiveness and the burst to make those explosive plays to justify taking him 30th overall right now.
Yeah, and it is tough because you're looking at a year where he's probably going to, see. I mean, he might get to 1,000 yards, but it's going to be like a Najee Harris 1,000 yards. You're going to essentially feel like it's not great. And at that ADP, you need monster stats. You need somebody that's going to be a set it, forget it RB1. So honestly, what I would want to do with Hampton is wait, let somebody else take him super early in Dynasty, and then trade for him week 7, week 8. Go get him. You could have traded for Gibbs when they were giving Monty the ball 25 times in a game, and Gibbs was an afterthought most of the time. And then you could have easily got him. I traded Gibbs plus for Breece Hall that year. And I was silly for doing that, obviously, now, but that's the case. That's how it goes, that is really what it is. And years before that, I traded Najee Harris for Breece Hall in a first. The world is ever changing when it comes to running backs, especially in Dynasty. I would never go that early on a running back. Here's a spicy one. Here's somebody that is pretty polarizing. Obviously, Travis Hunter, we did not know what he was going to come out as. He looks like he's taking primarily wide receiver snaps. To me, Travis Hunter is not a bona fide wide receiver 1 right off the bat. And that's just the reality of somebody that's played on both sides of the field. I think everyone's overvaluing his skill set. And I think that he needs to adjust to the NFL just like anybody else will. Yes, he's a unicorn. Yes, he's got the skills. But let's go over the guys that are going after him in startups and then talk about whether we would want him or one of these guys. So Dane, hit me with all these guys that are going after him, wide receiver.
All right. So we have Tet McMillan, we have Rashee Rice, we have T. Higgins, and we have Roma Dunze are the closest in ADP to Travis Hunter.
Yeah. Okay. So I honestly, that is not as bad as I thought it was. But what I'm seeing out in the world is he's going before Drake London. He's going before JSN. I see him being traded straight up for Drake London. I have seen him go. Man, there's so many players out there. Like he's going before Ladd. He's going before. Honestly, like I've seen him in that BTJ neighbors range a few times as well. So, if you're talking about where his ADP was before and where it is now, it's drastically different. So, I mean, I'm not going to say Travis Hunter's better than Drake London. I'm not going to take him over Ladd McConkey. There's a line there, and I think you're hoping for a set it, forget it wide receiver 1 at that ADP. And you have to remember, even if he is fantastic, Brian Thomas Jr. is fantastic too. And Trevor Lawrence hasn't proved that he could even support one wide receiver 1 at this point in his career. Do you feel like Travis Hunter is a little bit high, a little too high right now? And would you rather take Drake London? Would you take Ladd McConkey? Who are the guys where you feel comfortable taking Travis Hunter in that range right there?
Yeah, like if it's Drake London, Nico Collins, Ladd McConkey, I'm going to take them over Travis Hunter. Once it gets into JSN, Garrett Wilson, Tet McMillan, AJ Brown, that's where it might be more build dependent for me. And if I need to take a swing on that ceiling, I'm going to try and do that. But in this situation, like I'm going to go and see if I can tear back and see if my league makes want to make those decisions, and I can either get more startup picks or I can get future draft capital.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Travis Hunter's a full fade, but at ADP, if he's going before Drake London, if he's going before Ladd, and I honestly like Ted McMillan has the case to be more productive year 1, where you could see a window of trading Ted McMillan for Travis Hunter plus. So I think that people need to pump the brakes a little bit as far as you want to get a share of Travis Hunter, wait a little while, wait it out. You'll be able to buy. You'll be able to take Ted McMillan first and then trade him for a plus.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that.
All right, we're starting to get a little spicier with every player that we hit right now. So this one, I have my reasons. We'll go into it a little bit. Dane, tell me about this guy right now.
So we got Achane. He's being drafted 29th overall. To me, he is an electric player. He has that upside that you want. We are seeing a little bit of turnover with that Dolphins team. We never know what is going on with Tyreek Hill. We don't know what is going on with Tua, and it has been shown in the past that when Tua is injured, Achane seems like he loses all of his superpowers. So he's kind of at that 2-3 turn where there might be more security in going and getting a Lad McConkey, a JSN, grabbing one of those quarterbacks that's a CJ Stroud, Drake May, Nico Collins, and I'd be more comfortable with a player like that.
Yeah, at his ADP, he is going in that range of guys. We're talking about Drake May and Superflex. Like there are Lad McConkeys and even Garrett Wilsons who could be hyper targeted in that Jets offense with nobody else around him. Achane's situation is not locked in, and it's not as good as it was even this time last year. Tua obviously has the concussion issues. That offense hasn't been humming like it was, and you need an offense to be humming for this type of running back to really, I guess, succeed at a high level when it comes to fantasy. I don't see the consistency. I also see issues in that backfield. No matter how explosive he is, no matter how good he is, he needs limited touches. I think it's getting a little murky back there. Like I don't think that we really know who's going to be the running back 2 in that, running back 3. With Mostert, you felt like it was safer. With Mostert, I felt like I knew exactly what I was going to get. And that was really just like, he was probably going to be injured at some point and it was wide open. Now it's like, I don't know if Ollie Gordon's going to hit a little bit. I think that Devon Achane's he's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be like that superpower human that we're talking about RB2, RB3 on the entire year. I'm looking at more of an RB7, 8, like somebody that's going to be in the back end top 10. And at that ADP, you need an RB2, 3. He's going in that range. If you're like in that rookie range, he's going where like Hampton's going. And we just talked about how Hampton's overvalued. I think at that range, I would take it. I would trade Achane for Hampton all day, right? I think that feels okay. Would you take Hampton or Achane?
I would still rather have Achane. I think just because of his pass catching ability and the efficiency, but I agree with you when he's RB5 off the board, and like I said, you can go and lock in your QB2. I would much rather take that route when it's somebody that's more dependent that the Dolphins passing game is going so that Achane can have that efficiency.
Yeah, and I think we're looking at a year where running back is plentiful. Like we're talking about guys in the back end that are probably going to get usage and you're probably going to get fantasy points. And it's like, do you really want to burn a pick at, running back when we are looking at your quarterback 2 or possibly their wide receiver 1? It just feels a little too high for me. And like I do like Achane, but I think I'm going to tap several other guys in that range and wait for a running back rather than, burning through an early to mid third on this guy. Last guy that we're going over, controversial. I think that you can make the case either way for this guy, but he's jumping over Josh Allen for a lot of people. He is the quarterback 1. And I mean, we've seen this happen with guys after their rookie year. We saw it with Stroud last year. We saw it with Justin Herbert few years before that. When they come out and they have a monster rookie year, everyone wants a piece of that. Everyone wants a share. No matter what, they're like, I want a share of this guy. I want him, and I'll trade whatever it is. I have a startup right now where this guy is trying to trade me Jayden Daniels for, I think, Hurts and Gibbs right now. And I'm like, brother, get out of here. Like, don't even,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about trading the 102, 103 for the 106 and the 201, roughly,
Yeah.
in a dynasty startup. And that's just insane to me. You don't, I can't justify his price point at all because there is so much of a chance for regression, or there's so much of a chance that he has hit the top of the top when it comes to stats right now, because the rushing could go. We are talking about somebody that is relying on that. And I don't know if I feel good about taking him over Josh Allen, even though we're talking about an age gap. Lamar is even kind of questionable. Like we're talking about somebody that's going at the 101 in a lot of dynasty startups right now. His ADP is 102, but I think currently he is going in the last 6 or 7 startups that I've seen 101. He's pretty much jumped the shark and he's jumped over there as the quarterback one in a lot of dynasty startups. So, I mean, do you feel good about him at his ADP? Do you feel good about taking him over Josh Allen, Lamar? I mean, there's even a case for Hurts, but like I think I'm taking Jayden Daniels still. But like when we are talking about a quarterback going from your rookie year to your second year, there is many adjustments, and the team and everything has to adjust with you. It's not just a one situation that goes and just transfers over. Like these defenses are playing you differently. And yes, he's a great player. He's a unicorn. I love the guy. I'm not saying he's not going to produce at a high level in fantasy, but I can't take him over Josh Allen, man. Can you?
No, I can't. I keep flip flopping on him and Lamar. We've the track record is there with both Allen and Jackson and Jayden Daniels. We saw that year, but he's not as big of a build as Josh Allen and Lamar, and that does start to worry me. Where if he has to keep up that 900 yards of rushing every season, I think eventually that wear and tear is going to break down. Like we talked about backstage, the run game has basically stayed the same. Ertz is getting older. Terry McLaurin, you could argue, had an outlier season of 13 touchdowns last year. He still scored his perennial 1,000-yard season. But I agree with you. Like I'm going to be a little bit more risk adverse on this and believe that Jayden Daniels' stats are going to drop a little bit. So that's why I would side with the vets here.
Yeah, I mean it's not like we're saying Jayden Daniels is a full fade, but I think if we're talking about the possibility of trading him for a Josh Allen and a little tiny plus, or a Lamar and a little plus or whatever, like it's not a bad idea to chop him around and see what you can get,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't see him staying exactly where he is right now. Like I said, we saw it with Herbert. We saw it with Stroud. Stroud's situation was a little different. His O-line fell apart and, everyone got injured around him. I'm not hoping any of that occurs for the outside chance that he does struggle. It's just, I think that we are forgetting about the second year regression. I think that we are expecting him to expand on the numbers. And I think the chance, the actual chance of that happening is very slim. Like there are opportunities for him to possibly keep the same numbers, but it's not likely. Like we are probably going to look
Mm-hmm.
at a drop a little bit in some stats, especially the rushing. It's never a consistent stat, but that is the quick of our fades at ADP. Like I said, these guys aren't people we don't want on our teams. They're not players that we're fully fading. It's just they are in ranges where I don't feel good taking them. I don't feel good taking certain players over certain players, and that's just the reality of it. So if you are in leagues and you are looking at the startups of certain guys like Bo Nix and Hampton and stuff, and you're looking around and seeing these set it and forget it RB1s or set it and forget it QB1s, go send an offer. You know what I mean? Like this is what this is
Absolutely.
for. If we
Yep.
don't like them at ADP, go find somebody that loves them even higher than that and try to move them off for a plus. So that is Dynasty Degens ADP fades. We are the Dynasty Degens. This is the Maddog, and I'm Nerd Boy. Thank you for joining us.